Today on Mr. Media, I'll talk to MSN Now social media strategist and Sight for Sore Eyes, Kinsey Schofield. Stick around. Bill Gates has nothing to fear but social media itself. Mr. Media is recorded live before a studio audience of men who will tune in to any Mr. Media guest as long as it happens to be a beautiful, charming young woman in the new media capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. Kinsey Schofield charmed an awful lot of Mr. Media viewers the first time she appeared on the show in 2010 on one of our first video interviews. Now, that interview was quite popular, so when the opportunity to have the Fox News Red Eye social media expert back to talk about her new position with the MSN network, I, of course, said yes. The guys love Kinsey, and what's not to love? She's cute, she flirts without meaning to, and she's smart as a whip. Oh, and if all that fails her, I now know that she knows all the best Will Smith lines and rhymes from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Gotta love YouTube. So unfortunate.
It's all out there, baby. Kinsey is here today in her new role as spokeswoman for MSN Now, which seems to be a news and entertainment portal in which stories are ranked based upon Bing searches and social media updates. I had never heard of MSN Now before this, so like everything connected with Microsoft's efforts to gain a digital toehold in an Apple and Google-dominated digital world, she's got her work cut out for her. Kinsey Schofield, welcome back to Mr. Media.
Thanks so much for having me again. I'm thrilled to be here.
Always a pleasure to see you. And let's just do this right at the top. What on earth is MSN Now? I have no idea.
Well, MSN Now, I guess I feel like social media and the internet for a while has desperately searched for a calm amongst the storm. You know, I'm used to having 15 different tabs up on my browser, constantly switching back and forth to the point that it affects negatively my work day because I get, just ADD ridden and I'm going back and forth from blog to social media to news site. And so I definitely think that there's been a yearning and a need for a calm amongst the storm in just the digital world. And MSN Now kind of hones in on what's trending, what's relevant now, and gives you the opportunity to kind of skip through the mud and the muck because, like, let's face it, we have so much thrown at us every single day as far as news and just our friends' messages are concerned, that if you need, some quick topics to discuss on a blind date, or you need some cool information to share at the water cooler, this is the coolest place to find it, msnNOW.com.
So how is MSN Now determining what? I mean, it's all based on rising to the top, I assume. Like a lot of these.
It's updated constantly, and it's what the current Twitter trending topics are.
Mm-hmm.
It's what the current Facebook stats are, like what your friends are not only physically aggressively sharing on Facebook, but what they're commenting on and what they're liking on Facebook. It's what is blowing up on YouTube as far as hits are concerned. And then it's what search engines like Bing are saying a lot of traffic to, but it's one of those sites that is just updated so regularly that you can literally go look at it right now and know what's trending right now on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and it's like all in one.
Now, is it are the things that are rising to the top? Are we all seeing the same headlines and stories? I mean, are you seeing what I see, or is it
Yes.
somehow being personalized in some way?
I think inevitably we might have that luxury, but right now it is nationally what is being, consumed by America and what's being consumed globally. For instance, right now one of the hot stories is Obama's mic slip and how he was overheard saying on his microphone that when he gets elected, he'll deal with something. So that's a really hot topic right now. And then apparently in Dubai, they have created this magnet for your refrigerator, and all you have to do is press a button and it orders your pizza for you.
What do you like on
I
yours? I'm going for sausage on mine.
I'm never leaving my house. I was like, you cut out having me having to pick up my phone. You've cut out me having to log on the internet. I mean, I might skip putting my pants on before I answer the door. They're making it so easy for me. I can't wait for that to come to the United States of America.
All right. So,
But yeah, it's global topics are, it's at least things that are interesting nationally.
let me see if I get this straight. We have Dubai to blame for you never leaving your house again, but there's one really lucky pizza delivery boy who's in for the tip of his life.
A treat.
Yes,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
see.
And if he accidentally brings me a Mountain Dew, I don't want to go there, but I love me some Mountain Dew.
Uh, we pimp for Mellow Yellow on this show. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Uh, so okay, but I mean, is this you know, who is this? Who is this service aimed at? I mean, I'm thinking that maybe older net surfers, if we can even call people that anymore. I mean, they like to have things decided for them and handed to them. That's why they always like the daily newspaper, because it decided what's important and moved the most important popular stories to the front and saved the lesser things to the back. And that's why those people still read newspapers. But I mean, does somebody who's 18, 20, 25 years old, do they want to go to MSN Now and have them determine through their algorithms what the hot topics are now, or don't they just want to kind of find that based on what their own friends are talking about on Twitter and Facebook?
Well, I mean, good question. I can cut loose here because I'm at Mr. Media. One of my favorite MSN Now headlines was that the F-bomb is now more acceptable in the workplace, which I was like, dude, I was there 3 years ago. But so I definitely think that editorial-wise, it is something that is marketed towards a younger demo. However, I do feel like it is a complete cheat sheet for the older generation if they want to know what their 16-year-old or their 18-year-old is talking about. If they don't have the luxury to organically stumble upon the video of the squirrel gnawing on iPod headphones, now they're going to know what their child is referencing instead of having to go the extra mile to figure it out. It's a one-stop shop, and it is kind of a cheat sheet for the older generation, but the editorial is definitely geared to a younger generation.
So are there actual people making decisions on what's on the site, or is it strictly algorithm driven?
It is original content. We have an editorial team, but they are taking the top stories that are aggregated from Twitter, Facebook, Bing searches, and YouTube. So it is original content, and it's really clever and witty and fun content. But it is taken through a pre-existing algorithm.
I'm afraid we're going to wake up in a year or two and the only content in the world is going to be aggregated, and that all the people aggregating will be in trouble because there's nobody out there actually creating the content to start with.
I'm afraid that we're going to wake up in a year and all of the books on the shelves are going to be about sparkly vampires.
I think today's... See, you didn't sleep last night, but I'm afraid today is that day. I should say that Kinsey's been up quite a while. It's 11 a.m. her time. She's been up since 1 a.m. and it's been a long day for her.
But I've been working.
Yeah, she's been working. No, she hasn't been partying. She's been working. And
I know I look a little rough, but it's work face. It's not sleeping makeup. I wasn't chasing a Backstreet Boy across a club last night, although I should have been. They were still relevant, right? The Backstreet Boys?
Well, see, it's funny you mentioned that because as soon as you said that, I remember the last time we talked, we were talking about the Joe Bros, and I guess they're no longer relevant, are they?
I would... Honestly, I just received a Jonas Brother notepad for my birthday, which is today.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Oh.
But I would say... personal opinion that Justin Bieber is where it's at and where it's going to be for quite some time. I'm a little smitten, and I'm thanking God that he's 18 now because things got weird there.
Oh, you're kidding me. I'm hoping about Justin Bieber. I mean,
Oh no.
no,
Oh, oh
really?
no.
Okay.
I would take you. I have my South by Southwest suitcase still not unpacked behind me,
Uh-huh.
and if it didn't look like a still from Hurricane Katrina, I would go through there and show you all my Justin Bieber
Oh
t-shirts.
my God. Was he
You
at
know.
South by Southwest?
No, but I just felt the need to rep him there,
Oh, I
so I
see.
wore lots of t-shirts with his face on them.
I thought, okay, because I was afraid maybe that was the South by Southwest jump the shark moment. If you're going to tell me that Justin was there,
I can't
Mr.
believe.
Media, how dare you?
How dare you?
Well, and
Virtual smack.
uh,
Sorry, my phone.
well, strangely enough, we talk about St. Petersburg, where Mr. Media is based, being the new media capital of the world. Where do you think Justin has been the last couple of weeks?
In my heart.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry. In Petersburg.
that is
Mer.
correct. He's been in St. Petersburg with Selena. They've been while she's been shooting her movie. He's been seeing all over town.
I can't even believe you didn't invite me over.
Yeah, I talked to my wife about that, and it just really didn't fly.
She was like, no
No,
thanks.
it's come up in conversation a lot the last 2 years, but I just keep losing that one. So know that you're in our thoughts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So, are you still doing? Are you still working with Fox while you're doing this MSN thing?
I mean, yeah, as far as I'm never paid by them. So I like to say I contribute, but I've never received payment for anything I've done. As far as my relationship with them, it's heavy when it's social media oriented, but right now because it's so election heavy and I really am not the first person to volunteer my opinion as far as the election is concerned, I'm taking a bit of a back seat and focusing more on young Hollywood and hosting and pursuing that. Once the election is all said and done with, I'm happy to jump back in the opinion chair, but it can be, I mean, I'll be the first person to say, like, I think I'm just like everybody else. I sometimes Google myself, and sometimes it's work related, and sometimes it's out of sheer boredom. But I'm really sensitive to some of the things that are said about me online, and through innocent opinions on things like Red Eye, I have had some really harsh opinions thrown my way, and whether it's about my weight or whether it's about my maturity level, things have been said that have been really hurtful to me. So I've never wanted to be a political consultant or a commentary, do any sort of commentary in regards to politics. Red Eye is about pop culture and about, staying up on current events. And that is what attracted me to that show, aside from the brilliant cast of characters. And I will absolutely go back there when politics is not in the forefront. But right now, Fox is so heavy in regards to the upcoming election. And I really don't think my heart can take saying something innocently and then being ripped apart on the blogs.
So you're not game to go in there and talk about the Bieber vote for 2012.
I would totally vote for Justin Bieber, but he's from Canada.
Well, I meant where is the Bieber vote going to go in 2012? I would think that the
Well, I would love to be able to freely discuss that stuff, even intelligently. I could determine which way I think that would sway. However, I mean, one time I just said, I agree with Karl Rove. I don't know if I want Sarah Palin to be my president. And oh my gosh, I was attacked so, and I don't have any opinion whatsoever. It was one of those questions that I was caught off guard, and I was just like, well, Karl Rove's a pretty good guy. I'll agree with Karl Rove. And it hurt my heart once all was said and done with, and I saw all the things that people were saying about me. And it's just so easy to be negative on the internet, and it's just so easy to be cruel, and I don't understand why people pursue that. I don't know. And you'll actually notice if you look at the people that struck success quickly over the internet, like social media heavyweights, like at Kim, people like that on Twitter, they all rose to success through positive affirmations. They all rose through success, educating people and being kind and uplifting. And so it really is so confusing to me that people put so much energy into negativity online.
Well,
I'm getting preachy up on Mr. Media, y'all.
well, I was just thinking. I mean, you're contributing to a Fox News channel program, which is, I mean, my experience with Fox News is pretty much that everything that comes out of the mouths of people on that network is very strongly opinionated. I want to be polite here. So why would that surprise you that people watching it would have strong opinions about whatever you would say?
Because we were on at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I thought the only person who was watching was my grandma.
Ah.
Carol.
Hey, what are you feeding your grandma to keep her up at 3 o'clock in the morning?
We call it go-go juice on Toddlers and Tiaras. It's half Red Bull, half Mountain Dew.
I hope it's
No,
di-
I think I still consider myself to be young. I'm in my 20s, and I homeschooled again from fourth grade until college, so that definitely has a lot of impact on how naive I am in the real world. So as much as I'm in LA and I put myself out there a lot, well, also social media at the beginning gave us a lot of control, and perception was reality, and we could really craft ourselves in our image. And once you start putting yourself out there enough, you lose control, and people can kind of start to mold you. I mean, I really think that Lindsay Lohan made some really bad mistakes, but a lot of it had to do with the fact that we'd given up on her. So that's all we decided to focus on. And so I think that I'm just, still young in certain arenas, and my feelings hurt. So
All right. Well, let me ask you. I didn't know about the homeschooling. So it makes me curious. You have this amazing knowledge of pop culture. Did you spend a lot of time watching television?
I didn't spend a lot of time in front of the TV. I mean, sat in front of like Family Matters and like TGIF on Friday nights with my family. I would say really I was a Saved by the Bell girl pretty religiously, but I think that the pop culture knowledge comes from the internet. I mean, I taught myself online. The majority of my education was self-taught online. So I think that it came from just being curious and making new friends and my sense of humor.
All right. Well, let's come back to social media because it's only it's really only grown since we spoke the first time. Um, do you think that it's changed the way that we communicate with each other? I mean, has it and has it made us more? Well, let's start with that, and I'll come back to the next question in a minute.
I absolutely think it's changed the way we communicate with each other. I'm much braver in real life because of a confidence that I built online. Um, I still occasionally am the girl at the Hollywood party in the corner on her smartphone, just like, I don't know anybody here, I'm just going to tweet. But I do think it's given me an amount of confidence, the internet, that I wouldn't have if I didn't have an audience and people to communicate with on a regular basis that are strangers and that are interesting to talk to. It definitely helps with my hosting pursuits because I'm talking to strangers all the time in my job, and I talk to strangers all day long online. So yeah, I do think that it's changed the way we communicate. And most of my friends that are my real life friends started out as internet friends. And then I met them in real life at a coffee shop, and I was like, okay, you're cool. You look like your MySpace picture.
More or less.
Yeah. Nice angle. Did you
Yeah.
teach me that move?
Excuse me. And the other thing I was going to ask you about that is, do you think that social media has made us more self-centered or maybe more focused on our own interests to the exclusion of other things that we just you know don't want in our lives, don't want to know about?
I cannot tell you how many times I'm having a conversation with somebody and I'll be like, I am so bored. How can I control alt delete the situation? So yeah, I feel bad. And then I feel like, okay, how do I recheck in and how do I really physically completely recheck into this conversation? And I know that it's not normal to have those thoughts. Like I know that it's because of my 140 character kind of generation. Um, so as much as I have those thoughts, I am very aggressive about pulling myself back into the conversation.
I want to show you that I've become a mind reader in these
Okay.
years. I would swear that I just read your mind and you said I'm very bored in this conversation.
No, no,
Oh, you said
no.
that out loud. I didn't. Oh, okay.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
just kidding. Um, and in terms of the practicalities of social media, when you're advising people about it, do you recommend that they establish themselves in multiple social media outlets? Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus, or do you tell people who are still kind of new to it, or even that aren't, stick with one, get really good at one, understand one, and that's all you need to do.
Thankfully, there are tools out there that allow us to manage multiple social media sites. I always tell people to have multiple presence. Tumblr, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Even for a while, it's not so much anymore, but even for a while, I was still telling people because MySpace's SEO was so good for a while. So even for a while after MySpace was considered irrelevant, I was still like, well, have a presence and just direct them back to your .com because their SEO was so good and it's not as good as it used to be. But I always suggest that people have a presence in different arenas because people have specific hubs. Like I'm going to spend much more time on Tumblr and Instagram and Twitter, much less time on Facebook. So I'm going to attract different people through Tumblr and Instagram and Twitter. But I still have a Facebook because I know that a lot of people like Facebook more than they like those, and I still want to catch those people.
Hmm.
So I definitely suggest that you have, a presence on every social media site. And there's tools that can help you maintain all of them, like Hootsuite. If you are a celebrity or a brand, Hootsuite allows you to update your Tumblr, your Twitter, and your Facebook all at the same time, so it's really convenient. But if you're worried about keeping up with your social media and it becoming a full-time job, you can find tools that allow you to update things quickly.
Okay. And in terms of the social media sites, if you were to rank them, who's up these days and who's down?
Hmm. Well, obviously everyone's talking about Pinterest, which I'm trying to get into. And the thing I like about, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
I just don't get it. It doesn't appeal to me
I don't.
whatsoever.
What I will say about Pinterest is what I like about Pinterest versus Tumblr is that on Tumblr, then this is a total girl thing, so you're probably gonna be like, whatever. But on Tumblr, I love that. I'm inspired by design. I'm very visual. So on Tumblr, I'm inspired by pictures and design and fashion. For instance, I found this purse that I love by the Cambridge Satchel Company. It took me 2 hours to find out just through this picture. I saw this picture and I was like, amazing, that I want that purse. It took me 2 hours to manipulate keywords until I stumbled through a Bing search, until I stumbled upon the purse. Literally 2 hours of my life I'll never get back. I found it, but it drove me crazy. What I love about Pinterest is that it sources it. So if you find an outfit or you find, a material item that you want to purchase and you want in your hands, it's as simple as clicking the link and you're there, and it's not 2 hours of your life on a search engine that you're not going to get back. So I do enjoy that aspect. I really think that once I think that there are some stumbles, or I think people are still trying to figure it out, but I do think that once YouTube really establishes these premium channels, that is going to be a big hit, because I would much rather watch, original programming in my lap than channel surf. So I do think that YouTube's premium channels are going to be huge. I love Twitter, but lately I've been bombarded with not only spam, but like vulgar spam, like people using bad words, which I don't like. Um, And so if that doesn't change, I think that there could be a huge issue there, because I only left MySpace because I couldn't take the spam.
Hmm.
I couldn't take being inundated with people I didn't know that were trying to sell me a product or get me to go to some stupid club. The reason I didn't like Facebook was because I did not want to play Farmville, and I was not going to go to your event. I don't know you. Why would I go to your club? So I think that if Twitter does not clean that up almost immediately, there's that chance that we'll wonder and we'll move on to something else, because once that starts consuming our inbox, we really are more apt to shift into the latest and greatest.
I've noticed in the last month or two that even LinkedIn has been subject to a lot of spam. That people are. I've always been very open about accepting invitations from people because you never know who could, be helpful or.
It could be Obama.
Right, exactly. But I swear, in the last month or two, I've had about a half a dozen invitations that I've accepted that looked on the face of them, they looked legitimate, and then within a day they're trying to sell me shoes or internet service, and it's just like, really? Here?
Yeah.
This is not where I
No.
expect to see this crap. Twitter,
Get out
Facebook.
of my life. Yeah.
Um, all right, so let's kind of wind down. I know you've had a very long day, and for someone who's been up as much as you have, you've done very well today. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Still,
Even though I whined about being teased on comments and blogs.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, that's all right. You're allowed a moment. That's all right.
Thank you.
You're still glowing. What can I say? But so maybe I'm winding up with the tougher questions. I don't know, but they're asked with love, Kinsey. They're completely asked with love here on your birthday. But
Okay.
here's what I want to know: why does someone as cute and as cool as Kinsey Schofield keep selling her cred to cultural lead weights like Fox News and now Microsoft? It just seems they just seem to be the opposite of what you're about.
Mm, um, well, again, I've never made money from Fox, so I never really think of that as selling anything. I mean, they've always been open to allowing me to promote whatever it is I want to promote, and even myself. Um, as far as MSN is concerned, I do sincerely have 15 tabs open at a time, and as a freelance employee, I'm already managing so many different companies, and I'm clicking back and forth and back and forth. And when I am trying to stay relevant and topical, I get lost in the shuffle of going to these different blogs, Perez, TMZ, Radar Online, and then, whatever Drudge or whatever news source I'm trying to see. So to me, it was almost a rescue from my ADD, and it can kind of keep me a little bit more focused, and I hate to say like anything falls through the cracks. It doesn't fall through the cracks, but it takes me 8 hours to get things done. I'm sitting in front of a computer all day long because I'm so distracted. So I do sincerely think that MSN Now has been a tool that I'm going to sincerely use for a legitimate amount of time. And I only discuss things or repeat things via MSN that I do think is hilarious or funny. Again, like I loved the headline about the cursing in the workplace. And, I think it is geared towards my generation, so I like the content on it. But, and again, they're very supportive of me, so I have nothing but, pleasant, nice things to say, because in a city like LA, you don't have a lot of people that are behind you and that believe in you. And when you find people that believe in you, it means so much that you're definitely going to appreciate that. And I like their product, but at the same time, I really appreciate the fact that they believe in me as well.
Okay. And is it a problem? I mean, you're doing the Young Hollywood network, right? You're still involved with that. Now that's funded by Google, and here you are doing stuff for MSN, which is Microsoft. These are like arch enemies. This is like Superman and Lex Luthor, right? It's not a.
I'm a freelance person all over town, like all over the place. So the Young Hollywood's relationship with anybody has nothing to do with me. I'm not getting any money from, any source as far as Google's concerned. So
Got it.
I'm not concerned with that.
All right. All right. Well, I had to ask you those questions. Those were on my mind. Uh, I want to let everybody know that you can find the delightful and effervescent Kinsey Schofield uh, directly from her personal lair at Kinsey Schofield. That's SCHOFIELD.com, KinseySchofield.com. And from there, you can find links to all of her social media hotspots, starting with Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. And I suspect pretty soon. Now, I noticed when I was there, and now that we've been talking, that there actually are not links on KinseySchofield.com to your Instagram and Tumblr and Pinterest. Will that be coming to KinseySchofield.com?
My Instagram is linked throughout. I do blog posts like this month on Instagram or winter on Instagram. So I post my Instagram links and pictures, my favorite ones. Tumblr's like a much more personal arena for me, so it's not something I blatantly publicize because it's something that it's my blog and it's really personal, so it's not something that I shout from the rooftops. And then with Pinterest, I'm just getting in the groove with Pinterest, so maybe when I feel like I have more of, better content, I'll be happy to promote it more, but I'm still kind of figuring Pinterest out, how it happily resides in my world.
Well, your explanation of Tumblr rang true with me because just the other morning my daughter woke up and said, "Dad," she's 15, "Dad, unsubscribe from my Tumblr account, from my Tumblr feed right now." I said, "Oh, I didn't even realize that I had. I hadn't been in there in a while, and they ask you for like a Gmail. Do you want to connect to all of your Gmail friends who are on Tumblr?" And I just clicked, and I didn't even realize. I mean, there were like 400 of them, and I didn't realize she was on there, and I got in a lot of trouble for that. So I appreciate you want a little separation from the general unwashed public.
Well, and I feel like if you're sincerely a fan of me and you sincerely care, you're going to find it. And so if you do, welcome to the party. And if you don't, it's a little bit more private than everything else.
All right. Well, Kinsey Schofield, happy birthday. And thank you so much for coming back and joining us again on Mr. Media today. Hope we'll see you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too. For more original interviews, surf over to our main website, mrmedia.com, mrmedia.com. If you've enjoyed today's show, subscribe for free to Mr. Media via email, RSS, or iTunes, and you'll never miss a show. Another good idea, download our new free Mr. Media mobile app in the Android market. You can also listen with a piece of string and a tin can in many parts of the internet. Show your support of Mr. Media by supporting our sponsors, including Audible. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/radio. Again, that's audibletrial.com/radio for your free audiobook. We're also supported by thepartyauthority.us. Call DJ Ira for all your party entertainment needs nationwide at 1-800-DIAL-DJs or visit their website, thepartyauthority.us. If you've got an idea for a guest, a comment on today's show, or would like to advertise on Mr. Media Radio, email me directly at bob@mrmedia.com, mrmedia.com. You can also call our 24-hour listener line at 1-727-498-4711. Some messages may be used in an upcoming show. And unless you live next door to Mr. Media, there may be a toll charge. You can also follow Mr. Media on Facebook, Twitter, or our new YouTube and Vimeo video channels. Thanks so much for joining us today. I always appreciate you sharing a piece of your day with Mr. Media. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, this is Bob Andelman from Mr. Media. First of all, I want to thank you for years of support listening to this show. We're starting our 6th year, it's hard to believe, our 6th year as 2012 starts, and heading towards our 1,000th online podcast, audio and video. It's pretty amazing, frankly. I remember starting it several years ago thinking this will never last. And podcasts, that's as stupid a word as blogging. But here we are, starting our 6th year and heading up to 1,000 interviews. And I want to thank everybody for listening and supporting the show. I also want to tell you that, one of the things that's been very helpful for this show is Stitcher Radio. Yes, this is sort of a commercial. Now, there are millions of smartphone apps in the world, but I only use one several times a day, Stitcher Radio. I build my own radio station to listen to broadcast and online shows when I want and in the order I want. CNN News Update, Onion Radio News, WTF with Mark Maron, MSNBC's Morning Joe, Studio 60, the TechCrunch headlines, and of course, Mr. Media. It's free. It works on iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, Palm Pre, and much more. And you can get it for free for yourself. Try it out. I guarantee you're going to love it. Stitcher.com/MRmedia. That's Stitcher.com/Mr. Media. You're going to love it. And thanks again for supporting the show.